say one thing. I
Go
just
ahead.
want to answer your question. Who killed who or whatnot. Cal Rittenhouse was 17 years old, white boy that murdered
Thank you.
two or three black kids in Michigan during a protest. He was acquitted on all charges. Um, Jordan Penny, I think that's his name. He choked out that black homeless man on a train in New York recently. Was also acquitted of charges. So, and I
No,
guess what
neither one of those was killed. Stop. Stop.
you know, but he was pointing out like why there could be. I know you don't think it's true, but there could be like a sense of white power supremacy in this country because sometimes when white people do certain crimes, they're not held to the same extent as black people or other people do. And so you were asking him to give names. I gave you two, and one was actually the same age as the guy, the black boy that just killed the white guy, and he was acquitted of all his charges. He was also a 17-year-old white boy in Wisconsin,
Happens
and
all the
it's like,
time.
and it's like, well, why was he acquitted when he actually murdered someone? You all are saying that,
Because they didn't murder anybody.
You see, this is why I've been trying to explain to people who are following the Austin Metcalf case that Carmelo Anthony's supporters live in a totally different reality than we do. You see, me and you, we're down here on planet Earth. Carmelo Anthony's supporters live in an alternate reality, a alternate universe. I call it the Medeaverse because they've gotten everything they know from BET and ratchet rappers like Sexy Red, whose sole purpose of existence is to drag down the black community. But anyways, here we are in the year 2025, and still a shocking, overwhelming amount of the black community, for some reason, they still believe that Kyle Rittenhouse killed 3 black kids. It's been a half a decade since this situation played out, and mind you, this was one of the most televised, publicized, sensationalized trials in the history of our planet. Every single news station played the trial. Every single newspaper talked about the trial. All of the magazines, all of the news websites, all of the news accounts on social media, half of YouTube was reacting to this trial. It literally will only take you about 8 or 9 seconds to do a Google search and find out who Kyle Rittenhouse actually killed. But no, here we are, all of these years later, and these people still believe that Kyle Rittenhouse killed 3 black people. They don't realize that he only killed 2 white chomos, and the third person got his arm halfway blown off. These details are very easy to find, but these people don't search for the truth. They don't search for the details because they live in this alternate universe, this alternate reality where their life view and their world view is shaped by some of the most ratchet, ghetto nonsense you can imagine. And their community leaders, these people claiming to be pastors and preachers, they all uphold these lies as well. And they've been constantly spreading this misinformation. Never mind the fact that you could literally do an 8-second Google search and see the truth. These people don't want the truth. They want to live in their own reality, and they want to call us racist for living in the actual reality where we base our opinions and thoughts on the facts and not what we saw on the new Tyler Perry movie. So you have to understand that these people live a life where they're constantly subjected to nothing but false realities and lies to, I don't know, make them feel better. I don't know what it is. But, I've mentioned in prior videos that a certain portion of the black community here in America, they've become the most openly racist group of people I think I've ever seen. Maybe the most openly racist group of people in the world, but definitely the most openly racist group of people here in America. But I want to be fair because I'm a fair person. So, yeah, a lot of black Americans are extremely racist. It's definitely an issue. But black Americans are subjected to more propaganda than maybe any other group of people on earth as well. So a lot of this hate, it's coming because of the propaganda that they're constantly subjected to. You have to understand, when I wake up in the morning, I just go about my day. I just live my life. These people, from the time they open their eyes in the morning to the time they close their eyes for sleep at night, they are subjected to nonstop propaganda. Everything they watch, everything they listen to, everything that surrounds them is nonstop propaganda. Propaganda to make them feel like a victim. Propaganda to make them feel like everything that goes wrong in their life is because of white people. Oh, you spilt the glass of milk on the kitchen counter? It must be the white man's fault. You know what I mean? So understand that these people are subjected to extreme levels of propaganda. And as someone who basically grew up in the black community, but wasn't black obviously, I was subjected to this propaganda as well. Now, of course, it didn't work on me, but I saw that it existed, right? In every single movie, in every TV show, on every album, on every talk show, on every black morning radio show, it's nonstop victimhood. You're a victim. The white man is bad. Propaganda 24/7. And the media, and white people in the media, and the Jewish people in the media too, they're responsible for a lot of it. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm unaware of that, because I'm more aware of that than your average person. These are conversations we don't often have here, but these are conversations I would love to have. I would love for people to stop being so sensitive, stop calling everyone a racist, and let's just have some honest, open conversations. That's how we actually heal and mend the problems within these communities. But people don't really want conversation, because people have been raised since day one, subjected to propaganda, so they choose to live in their reality as we live in ours. But the problem is, when you have communities of people that are living in separate realities, sometimes these realities clash, right? And that's what we're witnessing right now with the Carmelo Anthony case. We're watching people who live in actual reality and people who live in the reality created by nonstop anti-white black propaganda, okay? And I find it funny, but it's also disgusting, because you see, they had this press conference for Carmelo Anthony's family. We've already talked about the press conference multiple times. And during this press conference, the spokesman for Carmelo's family, the baby beater, he was talking about misinformation. He claimed that the press conference was to confront misinformation, right? Misinformation this, misinformation that. He literally blamed the murder of Austin Metcalf on Donald Trump. He started to try to blame Republicans and right-wing content creators. He was just saying that everyone is lying and spreading misinformation, and then had the nerve to come out of his mouth and lie and spread misinformation on national television. I want to go ahead and roll this clip, but before I do so, people often ask, how can they support the channel? The answer to that question is very simple. You can support the channel by hitting that like button, subscribing, dropping a comment, becoming part of the conversation, and by sharing this video on social media. You can do all of that for totally free. It only takes 1 second. But if you want to take your support one step further, you could always send a super thanks or a cash app. Always greatly appreciated. Now, with that being said, I want to roll this clip and you let me know what you hear that sounds wrong. You let me know what you hear that sounds like a lie or misinformation. And then I'll be right back with more.
Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back. We got
now,
that.
Isn't this some crazy-ish? Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Alanis Morissette face? But isn't it kind of ironic? Isn't it kind of wild that they hold this press conference? The purpose of this press conference was to confront misinformation. And then the entire press conference, all they do is spew a bunch of lies and misinformation. Like I said, folks, the facts of the Kyle Rittenhouse case, I'm not here to debate how you feel about the case, right? If you think it's right or you think it's wrong, whatever. That's not what the conversation is about. What the conversation is about here is that the facts of the case are widely available, easily accessible. But you see, people like this Dominique character, he knows his community. He knows the crowd that he is catering to. He knows he can get on that microphone and say whatever lie he wants to say because his little followers don't know any better. His little followers, I guess, I'm not trying to be rude, but I guess they're not smart enough to do a Google search. It's been over 5 years. All it takes is 9 seconds. But he knows that he is pandering to a low IQ, low impulse control crowd of people who will throw all facts to the wind in order to live in their little fake Mediaverse, filled with fake information that makes them feel better, right? Because the truth hurts. And the truth will hurt this community a lot. So they just try to, we're going to hide, la 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 la. We're going to bury our head in the sand like a freaking emu or an ostrich or something. And we're going to live in our little la la Mediaverse where Kyle Rittenhouse killed a bunch of black people and everything is racist. So this guy's sitting here spewing this nonsense because he knows he can get away with it because of the people he's dealing with, which I think is disgusting because I think this Dominique guy is a complete idiot, but I know that he knows better than what he said during this press conference. He just knows that he's not a smart guy, but he knows at the very least he's a tidbit smarter than the people who he's catering to. So he's spreading these lies on purpose. And luckily, Kyle Rittenhouse caught wind of this. And now, Kyle Rittenhouse is threatening to sue this guy. Kyle said he's been in contact with his lawyer. He says right here, should my attorney reach out? And I want to hear from you all. What do you think? Do you think that Kyle Rittenhouse should have his attorney reach out to Dominique for lying on national television about the case? I think he should. I definitely think he should. Because people like Dominique are responsible for this alternate Mediaverse that Karmelo's supporters are living in. These are the leaders, the figureheads of the black community. These are the community leaders, the pastors, all of these other fake labels. These are the people who pretend to be men of God. We're the most well-educated of you all. Allow us to give you your worldview. Get all of your information from us, all of the lies, so we can easily manipulate you, control you, have you out here rioting and protesting and sending us money. As we live a good life, y'all are out here in the hood dying and motherfucking can't even afford rent, can't afford, well, you probably can't afford rent because it's like $8. You probably can't afford groceries because they're free. But you get it. Y'all are out here struggling. And here I am. Here I am living a privileged life off of all the money y'all are giving me because I'm lying to you all. It's sad, but it's something that we see a lot in this community. And I feel like people within this community should call it out. I shouldn't have to call this stuff out, but I will. And if people want to get mad at me for doing so, I'm fine with that because I know that I'm on the side of the truth. And when you're on the side of the truth, you always win in the long run. But at this point, I'm just wondering what's going to happen next. Because if you've been watching my videos since I started covering this story, you know that I've predicted basically everything that happened. I called everything out. I told you that everything was going to play out this way. But now we've reached the part where I don't know what's going to happen next. I still think a Carmelo Anthony mixtape is definitely going to drop. But other than that, I don't know. I do expect some riots, some protesting. But I feel like this story has gone so far off the rails that it's starting to get unpredictable. I can predict that Carmelo Anthony's family will continue playing the victim. And this organization that's representing them, they'll continue to stir trouble and play the victim. But I think we're getting to that point where like anything could happen. I mean, hell, it looks like Kyle Rittenhouse may sue the freaking baby beater representing Karmelo. So, I don't know. I don't know, folks. Like I said, I've predicted a lot in this story. I can't predict what comes next. I know whatever it is, it ain't going to be good. But for now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.